results in probably some fractured relationships and also a lot of stress that you're gonna kind of hold in. But and it's something that I like to spend time in doing is figuring out how to work through the things that piss me off, figure out how to compartmentalize and deal with it. That my patience may be shorter, but I feel like I get over things so much quicker because I deal with it faster.
Yeah. So let
Because
me
I
ask
have
you
to
this
sit with
though,
myself. Hmm.
because you are a married man, so I think we briefly touched this on another episode. So patience wise only, because I think we kind of hit it overall at one point. How do you think your patience is in your marriage? Like, are you more patient with stuff in your marriage or less patient? Because I mean, anybody that's married, you spending a lot of time with your significant other by default.
So I think it depends on what it is. Like my patience would be little over some trivial shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, damn, we like ate up all the Apple Jacks, and like I start tripping. But
Hey, Applejack's good as a bitch though.
right, nigga, I'm come downstairs like for some breakfast, and the Apple Jacks be gone. Gotta set up for this bullshit cornflakes. But yeah, like things, other stuff that requires more, I guess, more emotional investment, more of your mental capacity. I feel my patience has grown, but that also comes along with just being married longer.
Yeah,
As you start to get kind of invest as soon as you start to invest into the marriage, you start to learn more about each other. You start to learn more about yourself and how you are in year one is not the same as you are in year four. Hopefully, if not, then you need to do some serious growth and some serious development. We're not like it's an acceptance of we're not the same. We're not going to stay the same, but we grow
right.
together and we encourage and inspire and back each other up on our path to growth. So along with that, there's understanding there's going to be some butting of heads, which is healthy. There's no such
Right.
thing as a relationship that there is no arguing, there is no fighting. You're supposed to fight. If you don't fight,
Mm-hmm.
you're papering over shit, and you're doomed from the start. You were never really cool to begin with.
Exactly. And I asked that question too because I feel like I'm not in terms of relationship, but I feel like I experienced that a little as a parent because I know I have days where I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here and have fun and terrorize my son, and then some days I'm like, nigga, leave me alone. I don't want to wrestle today. Like, like I'm
Yeah.
good. And then I mean, same thing. And sometimes I get really upset real quick over little stuff, and I get over it. But at the same time, it's like, man, I really went hard for that for like 30 seconds. Like I came here the other day and my son had ate an entire Wagyu beef steak. And little did he know I didn't cook neither one of them shits for him. Both of those shits was mine. But he stood at the stove with a fork and ate the
Enjoyed that
whole
shit
thing.
and enjoyed it.
And I went in there like, all right, this motherfucker, you little trout mouth bastard, just ate the whole steak. And then I was
That's
like, all right, cool. So I came back later. I was like, all right, I went and poured me a whole glass of milk. Like, I'm about to get on the rest of the, maybe about 12 Oreos left. And then go in there and shit's in the motherfucking tray. I'm like, this bastard, the fuck? And I realized, like, I was way more upset than I probably needed to be. I mean, even more so, I had steak in there and shit. So I was just like, man, this is some shit. But shit happens, man.
nigga ate up your steak and your cookies.
Deboed my shit, man. Straight deboed me.
And that's the stuff that really causes most of the arguments and most of the turmoil because it's the little things that you need to kind of get yourself through the day that you don't need other people for. And for I believe for most of us, all of us, we need to have that one thing that we don't need to depend on someone else to remedy us in a certain situation. So for some, that's fucking going for a jog or going to the gym. For others, it's just have a fucking glass of milk and some Oreos.
I mean, a glass of milk and some Oreos go a long way, man. But I think that's the thing too, though. It's like, and I say that too because I can't see myself dealing with that. Like if I was cuffed up in the house, like quite honestly, I'm gonna be completely transparent. If I came into the kitchen and somebody that was just shacked up in here because we COVID cuffing that ate my whole Wagyu strip without consulting me first, you getting put the fuck out. like you gotta go. I can't have it. I mean, and don't follow that. You wouldn't even have a chance to follow that up by eating the Oreos. But I'm sitting here like, all right, it comes down to your level of concern and love and care for a person. Because like my son, I'm like, man, it's food. This nigga can eat anything in this house really if he want to. My son, obviously. I just had a taste for it. But if it was somebody else now, we kicking it and just so happen to the circumstances, we end up in the house like, yeah, you might want to walk a tightrope. You know, I might want to goddamn come and have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and all the strawberry jam gone. You know, I don't fuck with grape like that. Like, I'm going to be mad. That might be it right there.
What you're hitting on right there is the importance of credibility. Everyone doesn't have that credibility with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the things that I argue with my wife over are not be the same thing I argue with, you know, my sister or anyone else on the street. They're all just different.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real funny to me, too, because, like, even more as I sit here and think about this, it's like, and I always relate it back to my son because he's who I'm around the most. And this honestly is the most time we've ever spent together because obviously he can't do nothing because COVID is happening. So it's no summer programs or stuff he can do. And everything is closed. So the places we can go out besides outside is limited. So like we spend a lot of time together. And I'm like, all right. And luckily for me, like my son is awesome. I got basically everything about this kid I enjoy besides him eating about as much as I do. I mean, we'll sit around and play Minecraft and play games and stuff. And I'm sitting here like, I don't actually know many people personally that would keep me entertained on that level. You know what I mean? Like it's my son, so it's like a replica. But if you're not entirely interested in a person on the level where you, one, are not mentally stimulated and two, probably annoyed, like, yeah, I don't think I would survive too long like that. Yeah, there are people doing it, so hats off to them.
But I always tell people this is the litmus test for any relationship because this is a situation unlike anything we would have ever expected or could have imagined. Because at least in this modern history, there's never a time when 24 hours a day you're stuck. You're in the house or in a confined space with someone without any real breaks. If you don't have a house or if you don't have like extra rooms to get to, it's going to be very difficult to kind of get away from each other if you're looking for distance. So you're forced to face each other. So some relationships are going to sink or swim depending on how they navigate this shit. And some people just aren't good enough for some people, and that's just the tough conversations. And there'll be some that want to have a status that, at least in your mind, they haven't earned or don't deserve.
Well, you know what? Let's venture off into that. All right, so let's make a segue from cuffing season and exactly that, right? Standards, right? So here's the thing, and I'm going to start with a saying that I love to say. All right, and it starts from a saying that everybody else loves to say: one man's trash is another man's treasure. All right. That man's whose treasure it is, that motherfucker's known as homeless because that means that nigga got to dig through the trash to fucking find that shit that is supposedly treasure to him. That will never change the fact that I may or may not throw the shit away. That doesn't ever change the fact that it's probably still trash to me. That nigga's more welcome to it. All right. With that being said, trash ass motherfuckers, everybody's entitled to their own standards and preferences, right? And everybody, and I'm going to sip harder plenty of times while I'm doing this because sips tea. What is standard for someone may not be standard for someone else, right? I know what my standards are. I know what I deserve. I know what I don't deserve. And I think everybody should know that. And people always talk about, well, you know, and we've talked about this previously, better than and better for. You know, you may not be better for me, whether you feel you're better than somebody or not. Better than is subjective and pompous and a bunch of other things. But with that being said, though, like, I love when people say to me, you know, you're going to regret this or you're going to realize and it's too late. No, I'm not. I'm not. Because by the time you get to where I would like for you to be or you elevate your life in such a way that you may even meet my standards, like, I'm going to be on another level. You're assuming that I'm going to be standing still the whole time. That day will never come. Unless I have like some dramatic accident, like something drastic would have to happen for me to stand still. Otherwise, I'm progressing every year, which means where you get to where I previously was, I'll be way past that. And I'm not expecting for whoever I'm with or any situation period, actually, for people to pace me. What I'm saying is that drive, that ambition, that spiritual growth, that mental, physical growth, like all of that has to be like there has to be progress in those areas. That shit has to be in tune. And if it's not, then I mean, like I said, one man's trash is another man's treasure, but the nigga whose treasure it is gotta like trash. And there are people out there like that. And I'm not saying that you're gonna be trash to everybody. I mean, shit, you clearly not trash to that nigga. And some niggas don't even qualify to be trash. That's why you dumpster juice. The shit that fucking mix together and leak out on the people, and then you gotta wash your shit like 30 times to get the scent out because you are an amalgamation of fucking trash ass shit. But everybody's entitled to their own standards. Just my opinion.
And I think you're hitting on something. So I think we all, for the most part, are grown-ups, try to grow, try to develop ourselves, try to elevate our thinking and elevate our way of treating people. But for some people, they're too consumed with being with somebody that they don't really think about it being right for the person they want to be with, or is that person right for them?
Yeah.
And they're just so fixated on lust or that the ego part of them that says, how can this person not want to be with me? That they just don't just take a step back and ask themselves, why am I really doing this? Is this really for me?
Yep. I mean, I think that's the main thing, actually. Like, very few people do a comprehensive, thorough evaluation of why they're with somebody. Like, people get caught up in that romance phase where sex is good and all the other stuff. But, I mean, I look at stuff like, do I want to talk to you about my problems? Am I capable of being transparent with you? Do you understand that being content and being ambitious are not mutually exclusive? Like, no one says that you can't be content and also be ambitious. And I think that's one of the, like, my pet peeves. People be like, all right, well, I'm content where I am and I'm good here. And thus they treat life like, all right, I don't really need to strive to do anything else. Like, I'm very content with where I am in life. Like, I've made it so far past where I thought I would ever make it that, I mean, yeah, if I lived out the rest of my life in the state that I'm in, yeah, I'd be satisfied. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm still alive. I'm still breathing. Why not strive for more? Like, why not contribute more to the world? Why not be able to give my son more? Why not improve myself so I can help others? And that's the thing that gets me. Like, if somebody gonna be them best selves, I need to maximize my potential for the sake of helping others. Like, if I'm in a better place, the more people I can help. That's really what happens. Like, if I'm more lucrative, if I'm more grounded, if I'm more spiritually connected with myself, if I'm more sane, then I'm in a situation where I can help out other people that much more and thus give back more. But people always look at it like, well, you know, I'm not necessarily worried about other people, or I'm not worried about money, or I know enough already. Like, once you hit that phase and you think, all right, I need to go no further, especially when you're in a relationship with someone, I think that's where people like lose me at. Cause I'm like, you good, but you're not, one, contributing shit to me. And two, you're not necessarily, you damn near dead weight on society. Like that's really what you are. Whether you are dead weight because you are consuming from society and not giving back, or you're dead weight just because you're so consumed with yourself that you don't think it's your job, your priority, your duty to give back to everybody else. Like, nah, I'm not cool with that. And I guess I say that because I've dedicated my whole life to doing stuff like that. Like, I've been in the military, which might have not been the best choice at the time, but it's one of those things where you are in service of other people, whether you like it or not. And now I'm a civil servant for the federal government, which means whether I like it or not, I'm in service of the American people. And most of you motherfuckers I don't like. 99.999% repeating. I don't like. I'm still in your service though. So when you relate this shit back to relationships, it's like, if you don't do a comprehensive evaluation of yourself and what you're able to add as far as value go to a person's life, just for that one person, I'm not even talking giving back to society no more. Like, being able to give back to one person on a level that is beneficial to them without anything expected from it, or without even trying to, sometimes just by being a good productive human being and a good productive partner in a relationship, then why are you doing it? I mean, if dick or pussy is the reason, great, but a lot of that on earth. It's a lot of that on earth. So pick the route you want to take. That's all I'm saying.
And it's also